Hare Krishna, Gauranga. I just wanted to share a few thoughts from the last few days. Obviously we've just come out of Kartik now, and same thing as I said before with Purushottam month, that we don't let the ball drop, or in one sense our application, or our enhancing our practices in Krishna consciousness doesn't change simply because the month changes or the extra mercy is apparently not there, because there's always mercy available to the devotees at any time, So although in one sense externally lowered the rounds down, what I then did was increased another aspect, which was reading, and I found a little bit of time just to do some actual physical reading again. Normally my main thing is constant lectures, naturally the nature of Grihastha ashram is that you're usually constantly on the go, and just as we want to give Krishna our full attention, naturally you want to give your family your full attention, so we don't advise running around with earphones on all day, so which I sometimes do myself actually as well. It's not the best thing to do, but I've been managing by Krishna's mercy to find some nice time to read physical copies. I read a whole book yesterday, a Harinam Sankirtan manual, which I'll speak about on a separate thing. But what I found was just some real clarity of realizations coming through from and reading, and also an incredible buzz. The last couple of days I've been doing that program, just reading for a couple of hours, and there's been an amazing feeling coming. And of course, this should be no surprise really. In the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 4, and near the end, the Lord actually speaks about this to Arjuna, and he highlights the effect of transcendental knowledge. So I kind of just wanted to point us to those verses and just have a little quick look at what they are, and then we can understand the benefits of reading Srila Prabhupada's books, the what to expect kind of thing. So they are as follows. From 433 says, Shreyan Dravya Mayad Yagnaj Yagya Yajna Parantapa Sarvam Karma Kilam Partha Gyani Parisamapite. He says, O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, O Sanaprita, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. So the Lord's, it's a very clear point what the Lord is saying there, that everything we do in knowledge is more beneficial. Yeah? Now this is our thing. First become conscious, then become Krishna conscious. So we do nothing in Krishna consciousness on the mindless platform. Everything is, a conscious activity. Devotional service in its very essence means that we are willingly and with all our senses applying ourselves to serving the Lord. It's not just that you're swinging and you're doing things and it's all on some automatic platform. Even spontaneous devotion doesn't mean that it's happening without any thought process. It means it's coming by the true nature of the self, without someone prompting you or an alarm clock to remind you to do it. It's coming spontaneously. It doesn't mean that it's coming mindlessly. So that's the thing to remember. And of course, the next one here was one of the 30 key verses of the Bhagavad Gita, which we already covered, was 434. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam gyaninas tattvadarshanaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So we know, of course, from my class on that particular shloka, that it's the spiritual master that imparts this transcendental knowledge. So now we know who to go to. Right? The Lord is laying it out so systematically, actually, very, very nice. And then 435 says, Yajnanat vana punar moham evam yashyasi pandava yena bhutan yasheshani drakshashatnya atomayi. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. So now it's saying here that the life-saving nature of this transcendental knowledge, once you understand it, you don't fall back. So it's not that this is a very interesting thing that we're saying. Knowledge. That we have material knowledge. It can liberate us or it can pull us down. But this transcendental knowledge, from that platform, we never fall, because being transcendental situated, or being at that level of devotional service where you've accepted the guidance of the spiritual master in full, that platform is what we're looking for, to be fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness with that transcendental knowledge guiding you. Then there's no coming back. And the Lord continues. So this is great. This is, as I said, this is the last slokas of that chapter. Api ched asi papi bhya sarve bhya papakrit tamaha sarvam jnana plavi naiva vrijinam santarishyase. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. And you can imagine, if you're not a very good swimmer, then the idea of being in a big massive ocean is terrifying. And sometimes if you're not a good swimmer, when you go to the swimming pool, because we still have to try and learn these things, isn't it? We need that essential skill. Maybe one day it might save our life just to be able to swim a little bit. But you go for something that's very buoyant. You take a float, you get these square floats, or sometimes you get these big kind of long tubes, and you'll hold on to that and you'll kick your legs like anything, and that'll help motivate your swimming a little bit more. So these books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, these are very buoyant, and they're life-saving tools when we are deeply immersed in this ocean of material existence. And the pure devotees, or the advanced devotees, their very life is geared towards throwing out that lifeline to us. Just as when you see a drowning person, you get the big buoy, the big massive plastic buoy, red and white thing, you throw it out into the water and they jump onto it, and you pull them back in. This is what we do. We go, door to door, or town to town, village to village, and we distribute these transcendental literatures and save lives all over the world. 437. Itai damsi samhitognya bhashma satkurute arjuna janagni sarvakarmani bhashma satkurute tata. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. So now it's saying that this transcendental knowledge has the ability to burn up our sinful activities. So this is another thing. So many of the processes we do in Krishna consciousness are actively helping us on a daily basis. Maybe the ones that we're not even aware of. We know the power of the holy name. We hear that in our daily lives as devotees. The chanting of the holy name is the only way, is the only way, is the only way. All the scriptures are pointing towards that principle. Always remembering Krishna, never forgetting him. But remember that the books here are spoken Krishna. So this transcendental knowledge is all it's about is Krishna. So that's also a very powerful way to clear off, our big list of attachments and karmic reactions all waiting to come. And the last one, it says, Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate tat swayam yogasam siddhaha kalinat mani vindati. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. So this is the platform we want to come to, always totally engaged, always totally enjoying and relishing transcendental nectar. And we can do that alongside the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And that'll help us to purify the heart, so that when the transcendental knowledge is read, it will actually go deep, you know. The both things come hand in hand, you know. We read so that we can understand how dangerous the material world is and what the destination is, the spiritual world. And then we chant, constantly chanting all around, you know, before the reading and after the reading, to purify, you know, before and after. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Bol.